What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Lil Finesse, the Jiggy Hippie. Right back at y'all with another video. This video I'm gonna be talking about the Gemini. But before we even start about that, pause for the cause. There's like a little place you could go to on the bottom right next to my channel name. It says like subscribe or some shit like that. Click that for me one time. Alright. Noise. Alright, bet. So this video we're talking about the Gemini. So we came from the Aries, Taurus, and now we're at the Gemini. Aries cardinal, Taurus is fixed, and now we're at the Gemini, which is mutable. So before I even start talking about the Geminis, I'm gonna say this sidebar real quick that I'm not bashing this sign because like I've been studying astrology for a little while now, over like 5 years, I'll say. Well over 5 years, but and one thing I noticed that a lot of people be bashing this sign, like they be saying like they basically make this sign seem like it's the worst sign of the zodiac wheel. But like I said, it's a circle, so we all need each other, so there's no bad or good sign. So I'm not trying to bash this sign or anything, but I'm just gonna keep it 100% real with y'all. It is what it is, so don't feel offended. I'm just keeping it real. Understand that there's no bad sign though, so we all need each other. Like we need Geminis in this world. Without Geminis in this world, it'll be hella different basically. So before I even start, I'm just gonna kick y'all off with some famous Gemini people, so y'all could like picture in your mind, like when I'm talking about this, you could picture the person in your mind, like the energy they have. Well, first off, we can't forget the big homie. We got Tupac Shakur. He's a Gemini. We got Biggie Small. That's why I wore the shirt. He's a Gemini. We also got Kanye West. See how he's always chatting, his chatting ass. We got Donald Trump. He's always chatting. I mean, I don't really follow politics like that. I don't really I'm not really for the government. I'm for self-knowledge and and self-worth. I don't really like to look for other people to, tell me what to do kind of thing. But Donald Trump, if you watch his speeches, you could tell he's a Gemini by the way he expresses himself when he's talking, and the way he delivers his points basically. We got Marilyn Monroe. Now keep that in mind. Marilyn Monroe. She was like a sex symbol back in the day. We got Angelina Jolie, Johnny Depp. We got Morgan Freeman, the voice behind all of the like documentaries, like that voice, like the way he talks in those movies, like his voice alone, like is in movies, like Morgan Freeman. Keep that in mind. We got Prince, Purple Rain. We got Prince. We got Takeoff from the Migos. So Takeoff is the one with the thicker locks. He wears like heart-shaped sunglasses sometimes. In interviews, this is so crazy. In interviews, he's like the more quiet one, but he's a Gemini, so we all know he's not quiet at all. Like Geminis have that dual personality thing I'm gonna talk about. In interviews with Takeoff, he puts on that one personality of quiet, not trying to talk, yada yada. But we all know, I mean, at least I do. People that study astrology know that that's not the case. That's not how he lives his life. We got Andre 3000, Kendrick Lamar, Trippie Redd, Sway Lee, and Heavy D. So Kendrick Lamar and Andre 3000, you peep how when they rapping, even with Tupac and Biggie, the way they use their words, like their words are they're very crafty with the way they use their words, especially Kendrick Lamar. Like the way he be rapping hella fast, right? He raps very fast, but when you actually listen, like the words he uses his words very cleverly. Like the same with Andre 3000. So so without further ado, let's get it popping, shall we? So Gemini is the mutable sign of the zodiac. Now, the role that mutable signs play is they are the ones that they're constantly changing. So they're the ones that they kind of finish off the job and prepare it for the change. So cardinal signs start the job, they spark it. Fixed signs do the job, the same mundane thing, so they do the job, they're like the workers of the job. And the mutable signs come in and basically like clean it up and then prepare for the change. Like they change it somehow so the cardinal sign can come back again and start up a new thing, and the cycle goes around like that. It goes around and around. So now peep in nature. Mutable signs. So Gemini, the mutable signs in astrology basically are the Gemini, which is the mutable air. We have the Virgo, which is the mutable earth. We have the Sagittarius, which is the mutable fire, and then we have the Pisces, which is the mutable water. So now nature, Gemini begins the end of spring, preparing for the change of summer. So they start at the end of spring, transitioning, changing into summer. Sagittarius begins at the end of fall, changing, transitioning into winter. Virgo is at the end of summer, changing into fall. And Pisces starts at the end of winter, changing into spring. So understand that mutable signs are the ones that are changeable. They're very changeable. They like to they're the ones that they kind of like just keep the things going by changing it somehow, or like, you know, changing. Just think changing in your head when you think mutable, and everything's gonna make sense. So Gemini is ruled by the planet of Mercury, and remember, Mercury is ruled by Virgo and Gemini. Mercury is the planet of intelligence and intellectualizing things, you know, communication, the mind, basically. Mercury, just think Mercury is the mind when it comes to analyzing things, being intelligent, intellectualizing things. So Mercury is the mind. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is also ruled by Virgo and Gemini. So these two in particular signs are very, very intellectual, very intelligent. Their mind is always, when they go out, they're always looking around in their environment, and everything they see, hear, and feel, they put in their mind, and they try to analyze it and intellectualize it. So a Gemini's mind is never at rest, because their mind is always working. Their mind is always thinking about something, analyzing something. Their mind is just always moving. It's just moving constantly very fast. So all air signs are the air signs in astrology is represented by like the intelligence, or it's basically like this, let's say like the nerds of the zodiac, the ones that are very smart, and like when it comes to mental. Air is like mental. Just think about nature. The way air is light and it's always moving. Air is mental. Water, the way water is deep. Water is emotional. Fire is hot. Fire is like action, like your drive. And then earth is like material things, like earth things that you can see and feel materially with your hands, like money, possessions, and all that. So Gemini is an air sign, so automatically all air signs are very, very intelligent. So whenever you meet a Gemini or an air sign, understand that they work in their mind. They're not really into the physicalness of life. They're very into the mentalness of life. They do things through their mind. They intellectualize things and peep everything through their mind. Understand that and remember that. They're represented by the twins. So Gemini and Pisces, which are both mutable, have they have like, they're called dualities. So they have like two personalities basically, Geminis and Pisces. But Gemini is represented by the twins. So if you're a Gemini or you know a Gemini, this is not fake. This is very real. Geminis have two personalities. They have dual personality. I won't say two. Maybe they have a lot, because they're very changeable, and they can change their personality just like that. They can change, and they can make themselves adaptable to any environment they are, depending on what has to be done. So they don't only have two. They have dual personalities. It's represented by the twins. So understand that Geminis are living their lifetime with the fact that in their mind they have dual personalities. Some people say that they bipolar, or they say like two-faced. They could be two-faced depending on the light or the dark-sidedness of the Gemini. Give me 1 second. Pause for the cause. So depending on the light or the dark side of this, they can be two-faced. They definitely could be two-faced. That's point blank period. They definitely could be two-faced. But they're represented by the twins. And now remember how every zodiac sign has a body part that they rule. The Aries is the head. It starts from the top. The Aries is the head. The Taurus is the throat. So now the Gemini, as I said, is dual personalities too, represented by the arms, the lungs, the hands, the fingers, and the nervous system. The nervous system in our body moves very, very quick. Like me lifting my hand right now, there's so many things that's happened in my body, went to my brain just for me to lift up my hand. So it's represented by the dualness of our body. 2 hands, 5 fingers on one side, 5 fingers on the other, 2 lungs. So the duality of the upper body, basically. So Gemini rules the duality of the upper body. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. So now one thing Geminis all have in common is they're very curious about things. They have a curiosity about them. They're always trying to seek to understand things. Curiosity drives them because their mind never stops. So they're always trying to figure out something. They're always in their environment looking at things and trying to figure out how it works, what about it. They're very curious about everything. So they are the first to always to be quick to try something new. They're very changeable. They're like the chameleons of the zodiac. Chameleons are like is an animal that can change the skin color to any environment that it's in, basically. And the Pisces are also very good at this. All mutable signs are good at this. Virgos as well, but Geminis are very good at this, and Pisces as well. So they're very mutable, always changing, very unpredictable. You never know like what you're gonna expect. So I'm gonna talk about this later on in this video. But like Gemini women, like they're very flirtatious, right? Because they like to talk. So you probably be talking to them today. They'll be flirting with you heavy. And you think, damn, yo, shorty like me. Like shorty, this thing might even go somewhere type thing. And the next day you come, she hits you with a different ass energy, like a different energy, and it'll be different. They're very you never can predict what they're gonna do. They're always changing. Like they even have some of them deal with the fact that they're always changing, that they feel like they don't know themselves because within themselves they can't feel their true selves because they're always changing. Like their personality, their energy is just always changing. So it's kind of hard for them sometimes if they're not mature enough to understand that who their true selves are, because they realize that they're always changing. Some of them can be like wishy-washy, like I said, unpredictable, sometimes unreliable, because they can say that they're coming here at 5 o'clock, right? Like let's say you set up a date for like 5 o'clock. They're the type that will like when you calling them to see if they're ready, they're the type that will be like, oh, I'm just getting ready, and it's like 4:50. Like they're very kind of unreliable because they just live their life like on the fly, basically, like kind of like on the fly. Very flexible though, and very adaptable. You can put them in any situation and they'll find their way to maneuver themselves and be a part of the environment. I like a chameleon, basically. Now some Geminis, I have a few Gemini homies, and I could pertain to this, and I could tell you what they be telling me. So they kind of like dark environments, like Gemini men especially like being in the streets. They like that, like they like, even Gemini women too, they like the dark, creepy environments, like being in the streets, like the street life. They like, because your mind is always stimulated when you're in the streets, basically, because you have to be like on guard at all time. Like they like that you're always like, your mind has to be always working. So they're usually attracted to the street life, basically. They're very like, they like dark creepy things. I don't know how else to say that without being weird, but they like things that are bad. Like they like, because Mercury is also can represent the trickster. They're very good at tricking you into shit. Like they're very like sneaky, basically. They like sneaky shit. They like the street life. They like how you have to be very mentally smart to be to be you have to be very mentally smart to be able to take care of yourself in the streets. So some of them are very attracted to the street life, and they always have the need to be around people. The reason why Geminis talk so much, and all Geminis talk a lot, all of them, I don't care what you say, all Geminis talk a lot. Sometimes I feel like they're just talking just to hear themselves talk, but they always have to be around people because they get stimulated by mental conversations. So they're not really good by themselves because they need the mental stimulation constantly. It'll be hard to find a Gemini that doesn't like when they're in a crowd of people, they feel at ease, they feel more comfortable when they're letting their ideas, they're getting their ideas out and they're letting their ideas shine. Because the more people there are, like the bigger the audience, the more comfortable they feel when they're like, expressing themselves basically. Geminis will always keep you guessing. You will never know like what they're really thinking, and that's how they like it, because they're very mental. So they might portray to you something, but their mind will be thinking something completely different. So you never know exactly like what they're thinking, and that's how they can be very, like the dark-sided ones, they can be very manipulating, because they have the gift of gab. So they're ruled by Mercury. So they're so good at talking, at communicating. They're so good with their words that if you're not careful, you could get finessed by Gemini easily. You can actually get finessed by any air sign like Libras, Aquarius, or Gemini. Air, since like in nature you can't see air. Like fire, you can see the fire. Water, you can see the water. Earth, you can see the earth. But air, you can't see it. Air is like in the mental. So air signs are really good at finessing people with like by getting in your head basically. So Gemini, since they're good at talking, communicating, they can use their words very methodically and get in your head and finesse you quick, fast. So now I'm gonna talk about how to get with Gemini women, because I've dealt with a few in my past times. I'm not gonna lie, in my past life. That's in my past life. I've dealt with a few in my past years. But anyway, so number one thing to get with a Gemini woman, first of all, and this for the fellas out here, you cannot be the emotional type to get with a Gemini woman, because they will finesse you. Either they'll finesse you, or they'll make you feel like you're going somewhere with them, and all of a sudden they just flip and they'll be out of here, and then you'll be feeling like, damn, what the fuck. Geminis are not emotional. They are emotional, but they don't like emotional encounters. They don't like emotional conversations. They don't like emotions. But they like things that are light, that are fast, that are quick, because they're very quick-witted. They like things that are kind of like, they are light, not too heavy, and emotions are very, very heavy. So if you're trying to get with a Gemini person, understand that first of all, you should not be the emotional type. Second of all, you have to have a very strong mental capacity. Geminis don't like to deal with stupid people. They don't like to deal with people that are not smart mentally. You have to have very strong mental abilities, basically. You have to also be smart and be quick-witted in conversations as them. When they're talking to you and they're being funny, being witty and shit, you have to come back with the quick wit, like on your feet, be quick with it mentally. The most important thing you should do with a Gemini woman is be their friend first. All air signs is the same way, Libras, Aquarius, and Geminis. The best way to get with them is to start off by being their friends, because they like companionship. It's hard as hell to understand what a Gemini female is thinking unless you're not friends with them, so that they feel comfortable not letting you know what's going on. So you have to be the one to try to understand them, and that's how you'll get them, by them peeping that you're really trying to understand how they think. Because they themselves probably know that they are very different in the way they think, or they have a very complex mind. Like they're very, some of them say they crazy. Like they know this already. So in order for you to get with one, in order for you to peep one and be attracted to one and try to have one, you have to have the patience. I'm gonna say low key, you need more patience with air signs than like with any other sign, because air signs are all mental, and mental it's harder to it's harder to understand somebody else's mental unless they tell you. So being friends with them in the beginning, having the interest in really wanting to understand how they think. Try to understand how the Gemini woman thinks by being friends with them and peeping what they talk about, how they move. One thing about them is they're all flirtatious and they're all sexy as fuck. That's one thing I've noticed. So like back to Marilyn Monroe, she was like a sex icon or something. Like her whole persona was like the beautiful woman. Like even females to this day still like look up to her kind of as like the sex icon. So Gemini women have a way to present themselves as they're about that life basically, or that they're very flirtatious, they're very sexy. Like they present themselves as that, but the deep down secret is that they're not all really down to smash like that. They present themselves like that, and as a man, you're probably fantasizing about them through what they presented to you. But understand that their thinking is so different from what you're thinking. Like you're probably looking at them like, damn, she fine as hell. Like I'm just trying, like you're thinking like a guy, you're thinking like a man. But Gemini women are not really, they're not really looking for sex like that. They're looking for the mental connection. They're looking for the mental. All air signs are basically, but Geminis, since they're good at talking, they will flirt with you. Like they will flirt with you easy. Like today they'll flirt with you, but then tomorrow you trying to come back, it'll be like a whole different kind of energy. So understand that the mental connection is the most important thing for Gemini people. Don't get fooled by them, because they have this smile and their eyes are like when they smile at you and their eyes, they're like, they have like it's like innocent. It's not innocent, but they have like a bright smile and their eyes get big, and like they can look at you in a way that you're just like, oh, I kind of figured you out already. Like, oh, you're very like this. But you cannot figure out a Gemini person because they only tell you what they want you to know. Understand that it's very hard to figure out a Gemini person. So the best way to do this, the best way to go about this, easiest way to go about this is become their friend first. Be their homie, be their homegirl. Like understand them, try to understand how they think. If they realize that you're really trying to understand them on a mental level, then things are gonna keep moving forward. But they have a flighty personality, so don't get tight when today everything is Gucci and then tomorrow it just flips out of nowhere and everything is like, just don't get mad, because understand that that's how they are made. Understand they have the dual personalities. This is why you can use astrology for your life, because it helps you understand everybody and anybody as to why they do things. So understand that they have the tendencies to be flighty. They have a tendency to fuck with you today and tomorrow just be gone, like out of nowhere. Don't be emotional around them, or don't be emotional towards them, because that's what draws them away. The more distant you are to a Gemini, the more they draw towards you. The more emotional you are, like the more you're just trying to tie them down, the more they'll go away from you. The dual personality is kind of like be opposite of what you want kind of thing, if that makes sense. If you want a Gemini, be distant and then they'll come towards you. If you want to push them away, be hella emotional and then they'll go away themselves. Since they're really good with words, it's gonna be hard as hell like winning an argument with them. They're just good with they have the gift of gab. They just know how to speak. They just know how to talk. They know how to finesse through their words, and their mind moves so quick. They know how to quickly they're quick-witted. They just know how to quickly get things going. That's why they're really good at selling things, because they're so persuasive, and they know how to get you on their side by their words. Like, if you're not careful, a Gemini can finesse you so easily when you're talking to them, because they make things look so believable by the things they say and how they say it, their expression, their energy. So understand that you have to be mentally prepared to deal with a Gemini, because Geminis, they'll finesse the fuck out of you if you're not careful. Understand that they'll finesse you. Like I wrote down, they project that they're sexual, but they're not really about their life. They project that since they're like, their energy that they project is very like free, and Geminis are sexual, like sexually free. Like they project that energy, but don't take that as a sign that you think that you're gonna get with them easy, because they only let you know what they want you to know. And this video is getting a little too long, so I'm gonna cut it here. I actually had a lot to say about Geminis. I even peeped that, but I am gonna make a part 2, like I said, after I go through all the signs. So next sign is Cancer. I'm gonna keep it going. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you're fucking with the kid, go ahead and click subscribe, because you know you really want to. And I'm gonna catch y'all on my next video. Be safe out here. Peace.